Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Frubblord versus Curbs in round 3 of the second Steel Division 2 Championship. Today they are going to be playing on Orsha North. And on our left in the red team we have Frubblord playing on the Soviet side using the 15th Infantry Scots and the flatline deployment type. And on our right in the blue team playing on the Axis side we have Curbs using the 1st Skijager and the Vanguard deployment type. So the 15th Infantry is certainly a division we've seen before in the game be used competitively. I think the most outstanding performance that I can remember is from Nilla, who utilised 3-star rifles to really force the infantry meta in the face of his opponents and take advantage of that massively. And that's something that the 15th Infantry can do very well, because 3-star rifles are very strong and very cost efficient. So I do expect to see Frubblord bring plenty of those down. They're also backed up by quite heavily armoured Churchills, of course, and they do have decent AT guns to pick off enemy armour. Now on the side of Curbs though, he has the 1st Skijager. This isn't a division that I'm too familiar with, but it does certainly have some really decent infantry. It has plenty of MP44s and things like Sturmjägers, and yeah, just a lot of stuff that can certainly whittle down the rifles over time. It's just a matter of whether or not they are as cost efficient as they will be on the side of Frubblord. The other thing that the 1st Skijager gets is things like KV2s. Those KV2s are really awesome. If they were be placed on the high ground here, I expect that could cover the open quite well against the 15th Infantry. Something like a Churchill 7 though, with 150mm of frontal armour, could be a pain to get rid of. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the troops going down. So on the top side here, going to be the Churchill 6 coming out at the start. That is going to be the one with the AP and HE shells, with the 2 machine guns to back it up. So the infantry support version of the Churchill. Then we have a bunch of rifles. Looks like 2 rifle leaders and a commander. So he's definitely going for the 3-star rifles. Further down, we see 2 more units of rifles and a 6-pounder. A 6-pounder and sniper, going to be heading towards the center of the map. Got a sniper and rifles for this hill, and then looks like a bunch of rifles, probably with the leader on the bottom side with a 6-pounder, but these ones won't be buffed by the commander, so they will be 2-star rifles, still pretty strong. Sniper zooming all the way up. On the side of Curbs, we do see the Panzerschreck there. We've got the Sturm Skijager, Ski Pioneer Führer, Pack 36, going to be some Skijager Pioneers and the Ski Sturm Fusiliers. Ski Scharfschütze moving into cover here with a couple of MG42s to spray across the open. Quite like the use of the MG42s in the centre of Orsha North. It's quite a nice choice. Pack 40 moving into cover there. Skijager just going to be holding the flag on Curbs' side of things. Pack 36 and MG42 further up. Pack 40 also pushed up onto that hill. And then we see Sturm Skijager, normal Skijager, and a Pack 36 on the top side. So the Sturm Skijager, they are the ones with the MP44s. I said Sturmjäger, but yeah, technically Sturm Skijager. They have 9 MP44s and they can do a lot of damage to rifles, but rifles certainly hurt over time. And the sheer amount of rifles that Frubblord has in comparison to the Sturm Skijagers is quite something. And that's because the Sturm Skijager costs 35 points apiece, whilst the rifle squad only costs 20. So you can almost buy 2 squads of rifles for every single squad of Sturm Skijager. And what you can see happening on the bottom side though here, is Curbs is getting a leg up against these rifles, and it mainly comes down to, well, one being the extra veterancy on his Sturm Skijagers. He's got 3-star veterancy versus 2-star veterancy, makes a big difference. And second of all, not all of the rifles have been focusing on the same unit. You can see as soon as they do, Sturm Skijager go down very quickly. But in this case, Curbs was able to kill off a couple of those rifles. Unfortunately, a bit of mismicro there kind of caused Curbs to lose a few units, or a couple of units at least. The Skijager Pioneers further up, they're having a go at the rifles here. They aren't particularly good at a long-range engagement. They only have 1 MG42 and no rifles. They're much better off at the 100-meter range where they can use those MP40s. We are going to see off-map coming down as Frubblord is going to reinforce this bottom side. He's also bringing in a couple of Honey Stuarts. Nice cost-efficient tanks for taking out infantry. Meanwhile, on the top side, the Sturm Skijagers are trying to get the better of the rifles, but 3-star rifles in cover here. It's going to be hard for that to take out, and 3 more rifles are turning up. Those are going to go down very, very quickly, regardless of those MP44s in hand. On the top side, the 2 Skijagers have already gone down as well. So Kerbs' infantry is in trouble. But yeah, again, when it's one-on-one, the Sturm Skijager certainly can clean up multiple rifles. But if Frubblord's on point and manages to bring in multiple at once to overwhelm his opponent, then that can work out very, very well indeed. This off-map seems to have hit perfectly. It's managed to pin down a lot of this infantry, and he's managed to get a double surrender there with the Skijager Pioneers. He's made make that the triple surrender. Might be able to surrender the other unit there. That off-map hit very, very nicely. Double sharpshoots are also helping out a lot from back here. They're going to be shooting those rifles as they try and do a runner. I think these MG42s also have line of sight from the town up onto the hill, so they're also helping out when those are retreating. That's really, really nice use of the MG42s there from Kerbs. The Ski Sturmfusiliers, these are actually really, really strong, but they are very expensive. 40 points a pop, but 10 MP44s in hand is a lot of firepower, and gonna whittle down and take out those rifles. This rifle leader not in range to make those 2-star veterancy. It looks like these Sturm Skijager are going to find the rifle leader regardless. He's going to need a new one on this bottom side, but I would not be surprised if he doesn't have another one available. So more Sturm Skijager and Skijager arriving on the top side. Looks like Kerbs was floating a little bit, bringing in a lot of infantry at the same time. He's going to want to get those Sturm Skijagers into cover ASAP, because otherwise the rifles, they will start chunking the Sturm Skijager over time, because they're not in cover. But looks like Frubblord's in fact going to start moving back. Those aren't going to do as much damage because they're on the move, and they're also going to take more damage because they're on the move. Sturm Skijager still trying to hunt down the rifle leader. Instead going to be finding the Honey Stewart. We'll be able to get at least one AT grenade here. I think both players have their attention divided between the top and bottom side of the map. Nice kill there though onto the Churchill 6 for Kerbs. Takes that out, removes some tank support, and these Sturm Skijagers and Skijager backing them up are starting to whittle away at some of these rifles. But 3-star rifles doing plenty of damage to these squads, and I'm pretty sure that Frubblord can bring in plenty more of those. Sturmfusiliers have been taken out, and the Skijager Pioneers now having to take up the mantle, but no veterancy on those compared to 2 stars on the rifles. T-34-85's going to be hit by the 6-pounder at close range. Both of the Honey Stewarts did go down. The second one did get cleaned up by the T-34s. Oh, nice kill from the Tempest. Does take out the off-map. The off-map did manage to get down another strike, though. And it looks like it could potentially kill off the 6-pounder. But honestly, these T-34s, they need to move back. They can't sit there taking shots from that AT gun. And one of them's already gone down. The second one might as well. But it looks like it's just about managed to cut off the line of sight for the time being. Further up, the Sturm Skijager have managed to cut through these rifles and almost get on top of the rifle leader. If Frubblord can keep these rifle leaders alive, that will certainly help his rifles be more effective in the future. So pretty important that he does so. And off-map coming down very nicely. The off-map strikes from Kerbs have hit well so far. We are going to see the sniper go down on the ridge. Both of the snipers now dealt with. Skijager Pioneers only thing in the way of this infantry for now. 2 Ski Sturmfusiliers though on the way, and a couple Skijager for the top side. Sturm Skijager pushing forwards. The 6-pounder was taken out by that off-map. Oh, these Sturm Skijager, or Sturm Fusiliers, sorry, will be able to do tons of damage to rifles which have no leader support. Further up, we see the Skijager Pioneers coming in to clean out multiple rifles. And things are currently sitting at 12 to 12. Frubblord did have an advantage on that top side for a little while, which was giving him some score, or well, taking tickets away from Kerbs, I guess. But things have like normalized again. I think Kerbs is in a nice position to take this flag on the bottom though. We'll have to contest to maintain control on the top side. Bringing in some leaders for these Skijager Pioneers is probably a priority, but I doubt he'll probably have any left. I think both players have had trouble keeping their leaders alive. I mean, Frubblord has done better than Kerbs. Still has this rifle leader further back. Also has the other leader on the top side. So still pushing 3-star veterancy on the top, but on the bottom, well, the lack of veterancy for Frubblord and the veterancy being provided by the Skijager Pioneerführer is making quite a lot of difference. These rifles getting demolished in the open by the Sturm Fusiliers. T-34-85 trying to get some high ground so that it can engage these Honey Stuarts. Looking for the kill there. Does manage to capture that flag on the bottom side. It's going to be 13-11 for Kerbs. This is a very nice hard-fought fight. Tempest going to be coming in to try and clean up the Pack 36. Does not manage to hit very well at all. Gets away with that. Stug 3. Going to be able to get a couple shots onto the rifles here as they fall back. No damage done though. The Pack 40 also fired a shot and didn't do anything. Looks like Frubblord's just pulling back from the Skijager Pioneer, trying to dictate the ranged engagement versus these close-range infantry squads. If he can maintain a range of like 200-300 meters, then the rifles will certainly tear through these very quickly. Going to see an ME410 come in on the bottom side. That's going to have 8 50-kilogram bombs, looking for the kill onto the 4.2-inch mortar. Frubblord also now bringing in some off-map. That's going to be the 203mm off-map further back. I can certainly do a lot of damage to the T-34, and this T-34, I think it already got hit before by a side shot from the 6-pounder. So off-map could kill that very easily. Pack 36 also might go down. Those ME410s with the 50-kilogram bombs, I'm not a huge fan. You can see it barely did any damage to that 4.2-inch mortar. They can be good for pinning down infantry squads and sort of surrendering them, I guess, but it's quite targeted, closely targeted. Frubblord marking Kerbs' mortars for future reference. Nice Griller actually up on this ridge. I'm not a huge fan of the Griller, but a lovely position there to do damage to some of Frubblord's rifles. And the bomber goes straight for the leader, takes it out, removes the veterancy from these rifles, and gives his Skijager Pioneers a lot better chance of taking those on. Skijager and Skijager Pioneer coming in to back up that top side. So far, I don't think Frubblord's found as much value out of his rifles as he would have liked. The strong infantry out of Kerbs is managing to hold them back, and I was a little bit worried that Frubblord would just sheerly outnumber the Sturmskijagers of Kerbs, but somehow Kerbs has managed to keep up with the amount of units that Frubblord can put out, at least so far. As the game goes on, I think it's going to be harder and harder for Kerbs to keep up with Frubblord, mainly because, one thing, the deployment type, Frubblord's got flatline, and second of all, it's probably because the rifles do get value over time. So in the late game, that's certainly going to come into play. Because the Sturmski Fusiliers, you won't have as many of them, they cost a lot. They will start to be whittled down and the rifles will start to take over. But we're far from that, and honestly, Kerbs was sitting on a 15-9, which was causing a double tick for a little while. There we go, back into the 15-9, 14 minutes until victory for Kerbs. Nicely done. Does manage to shoot down the ME410 Frubblord with his Tempest. That was a nice engagement there. Sturmfusiliers are now pushing through quite aggressively into Frubblord's line. Got those behind. I feel like he's going to need those on the front though, because if he doesn't have more to help his Skijagers here, he's going to be in trouble, and the normal Skijagers aren't actually that good. They're pretty bad. They're more or less the same as Grenadiers. They only have the MP40, one NG42, and then all Kar 98. So yeah, not the best units at all. Seems like Frubblord's going to have to use his commander to provide the 3-star veterancy for his rifles in future. These rifles, if they got some reinforcements, might be able to push through these Sturm Skijager. Stug 3 has taken a slight damage there. It's going to be suffering with spotting stuff in the future. But the 2 Sturm Ski Fusiliers did take out the rifles that were on the ridge. The 2 Honey Stuarts are going to have to watch out for those close-range grenades, but honestly, it should be fine. If Kerbs tries to move that forwards, the Honeys will just kill them. And it looks like they are taking a bit of damage there. Probably not too much, though. So yeah, lots of Skijager coming in. These Skijagers, they are pretty cheap. They're 20 points pop. But rifles are just straight up better, because the Lee Enfields and the extra Sten. So in this kind of engagement, they're going to just eat those Skijagers right up. Oh, lovely kill there. These rifles getting killed very quickly by the MP44s. Yep, those transports going down to the Ski Fusiliers. These have paid themselves off very nicely. The double MG42 engaging the rifles coming down the road there as well. They're not in cover, so the MG42 should get a lot of work done. SDK Z72 on the top side now to stop the Tempest from strafing. There's also one on the bottom side that Kerbs has brought in earlier. And we are going to see the Skijager Pioneer trying to get closer to the rifles. Might be a bit futile trying to push that close, but we will see. He's going for the grenade. He's turned off the MG42 here to try and get that grenade on target, but I'm not sure it's really worth it. And the main reason being, 3-star veterancy is going to cause these rifles to be pinned down for not very long at all. Water fire is coming down though from these 80mm mortars still, and that is certainly helping out. But I think those Ski Pioneers are dead very soon. Two T-34 42s captured. T-34s coming in on the side of Kerbs. They are going to be able to push forwards and support any infantry here. The Skijagers currently getting the better of rifles at a distance. Ju-87D3 coming in for the cluster bombs on the bottom side. Going for the kill onto the Churchill 6, so he doesn't have to deal with that. And that will allow his T-34 42s to basically help his Skijager at close range. Nicely done. Those rifles going to take some MG fire at a distance, aren't actually in cover, so the MG42s will do a lot of work. And once they're pinned down, the Sturm Skijager can actually get a surrender there. Got to be a little bit careful with that leader on the bottom side. Might end up getting that killed. And keeping the leaders alive for units like the Sturm Skijager is super important so they can have that 3-star veterancy. On the top side, a couple Skijager going to get hit by the Brens, but probably just unloaded before the transport gets destroyed. We are going to see the 2-inch mortar carrier go down there. Scouts and Piats helped take out the Sturm Fusiliers. Back 40 did manage to take out those scouts, though. Nice hit indeed. T-34 42s moving through. One thing that is quite nice playing up against the 15th is you don't have to worry too often about infantry AT, so you can get very, very close with your tanks. That's what Kerbs is doing there. ME-109G6 does take out a Tempest. That is not something you see very often. I would say that was missed micro on Frubblord's side of things, because yeah, those ME-109G6s aren't very good without the 20 mils. Also, of course, the SDK Z72 was helping out. Skijager, though, dead on the top side. HU-111 coming in. What Kerbs tried to do there was fly it to the middle and then made it so that his bombs are going to land in a line upwards across the edge of this tree line. It was a smart move whilst the rifles were still in that tree line, but of course they've already started to move up, and that's going to make it difficult to take care of those. Right, those rifles are dead. Skijager find those, and the T-34 42s still pushing forwards. Have found some rifles in the building that might actually relinquish the point in favour of Kerbs. If he keeps pushing this aggressively, he will manage to finish the game quite quickly with the 12 minutes until a minor defeat for Frubblord. So Frubblord's got his work cut out, that's for sure. ME-410 coming in with bombs again. He's going to be able to pin down the rifles and the Churchill 6. Stops that from firing at his Ski Pioneer Führer. Stug 3 will now have a chance to move up and kill that. We're also going to see the ME-410 come in on the bottom side, looking for the bombing strike onto the 6-pounder. Going to be escorted by the ME-109G6, but not for long as that falls back. We are seeing, I guess that's the off-map coming down on top of the Skijager here. And, well, Frubblord's just driving on through. These rifles will try and hunt down those Skijager. Frubblord, though, he's just continuing onwards. There's no AT gun really here from Kerbs to stop him. So Frubblord's going to take back a couple of flags very, very quickly indeed. And that's going to immediately bring things back to 12-12, as it looks like Kerbs also lost control of this flag where these buildings are. And the rifles there pinned down will allow the T-34 to continue to push in onto those rifles and look for surrenders, but off-map's still coming down on that area. Ju-87D3 again coming in for an airstrike. That's looking for a kill on the top side against the Churchill 6. It's had enough of that. If that Churchill's taken care of, then the Grilla can certainly get some decent engagements in line of sight of these infantry. Oh, that's also... Oh, I was going to say potentially going to kill off the rifles, but didn't kill the transport in time. The rifles actually unloaded just before. Not sure if that was just lucky in sense of the pin on the transport forced them to unload early, or whether or not that was Frubblord microing it. But either way, pretty lucky there not to lose that rifle squad. These rifles that pushed through did end up getting surrounded. It's probably because the T-34s managed to surrender the units in between, and thus has left 3 units of rifles behind enemy lines, which could be a good thing in some ways. Typhoon. The bombing Typhoons are really not made for dogfights, and that might cost Frubblord that Typhoon. The Me-109G6 though, struggling to kill it on the second pass, and this is why I really don't like Me-109G6s. This Ju-87 though, again another bombing strike coming in. Churchill 7 goes down. Tempest looking for that kill, but the Ju-87D3, it might get out in time. It really does depend if this Tempest can get on target. I'm not sure if this can one-run the Ju-87. I guess we'll find out. Oh, nearly. Nearly. Although saying that, there's not even an oil leak coming out of this Ju-87. Probably due to the fact that the SDK of Z72 had caused sort of morale penalties to that aircraft. Anyway, still 15-9 for Kerbs, holding on nicely to this double tick and these flags. Skijager and Skijager have got into position on the top side. 2 Honey Stewarts now coming in there to back that up. So far, these rifles really not doing too well. But the rifles further back, honestly, these are going to come in very handy. Look at that. They've actually managed to stop the advance of 3 units of infantry. And they might even kill them off as well, because the Sturm Skijager are not in cover. So they're just taking free damage. Definitely worth it for Kerbs here to move back slightly in order to engage those rifles. But looks like the Me-410 bombed the rifles and then came back round for the strafing run onto the other rifles. Upper Blitz coming in to resupply the 80mm mortars. He's going to utilise them to push through the top side. And I'm just really hoping here that Kerbs doesn't get complacent. It's really up to him to keep pushing and maintain the 15-9, potentially more. Because he is playing Vanguard, and the longer this game goes on, I feel like it's going to go in favour of Frubblord in the late game. Not by much, but probably enough to just tip the scale. That's all really Frubblord needs to do. Ju-87 is going to be able to kill one of the Honey Stewarts. Lovely kills with these Ju-87s. More Skijager coming in. I do like this a lot. It looks like he's going to be pushing hard to get back this objective on the bottom side. Frubblord's also going to be pushing back though, bringing in more Churchill 6s with those HE guns and machine guns. 17-pounder still looking down the road there. I think that's probably what took out a couple of T-34s on the side of Kerbs. Although all I can really see for the most part is wrecks of tanks from Frubblord. Skijager there getting on top of the artillery command that has now been brought in from Frubblord. The open, really not too much happening. Pretty standard. Did the mortar manage to take out the Honey? I think it might have. There's nothing else up there, unless it was the HE-111 with the bombing strike that got the job done. So the 3 Skijager, they're trying to get the better of the command. If they can take out the command, they reduce the veterancy of the rifles. That would be really good. But the artillery command is going to get away. Yep, now he's going to have to deal with the rifles. That's a shame. T-34, though, is going to be able to help out. But that is 3 shots coming in from the Churchill 6s there onto his T-34. So got to be a little bit careful with that engagement. But so far, so good. The 3-2 should fall in favour of Kerbs. With these 80mm mortars reloaded, he's going to try and pin down the rifles on the edge once again. The T-34 is coming up to support his position. Ju-87, oh no, is this going to be a triple kill? Frubblord's got to break his forces up a bit. Honestly, this Bofors might cause them all to get hit. It's going to spread out the clusters quite a lot. And it would have killed all of them if they were a bit more concentrated. The Bofors meant that only one of them went down. And it might actually kill the Ju-87D3 as well. The T-34 taken out by the 17-pounder. Ju-87, I think it's going to go down. Both is very, very strong anti-air. Nope. I said it would, so it didn't. Classic. Alright, Skijagers have managed to push out the rifles on the bottom side. 15-9 once again for Kerbs. Nicely done. 80mm mortars. Continuing those engagements with the rifles and stuff. Just constant artillery barrage coming down, but not really doing too much. We're seeing Typhoon come in. That looks like it's going for a direct bombing strike. Yeah, it's going for a diving bombing strike onto the 80mm, but not going to happen. SDKFZ-72 going to stop that from being the case. ME-410 now coming in on the top side. There's two planes on the bottom as well. That's going to be two Ju-87s looking for the cluster strike onto the Churchills. Did manage to get the clusters off. Another Churchill 6 down. So yeah, every time Frubblord's trying to bring in tanks, the Ju-87s are getting the job done. But probably not for long. The Tempest is on its tail and the Bofors are still firing away. Yep, Tempest does the job. Down it goes. Won't be able to take out the other one. This Tempest probably going to survive as well. Is fast enough to get away from that AA. ME-410's coming into the center. Rifles. Oh, looks like they were going to get bombed, but lost target. And that's two rifles that are going to get right on top of the Pak-36. So that Pak-36 was a bit further forwards. I think he might have got the transport snipes, but he failed to do so. Gonna need some infantry to stop that hill being taken. This push through from the rifles on the top is good for Frubblord, but he needs to keep them concentrated so that he can get rid of things like Sturm Skijagers. And I guess the standard Skijagers aren't really too much of a problem. But yeah, the Sturm Skijagers for sure needs to keep concentrated to take them on. Otherwise the MP-44s are just going to rip him a new one. More 50kg bombs coming down. We'll finish off the rifles there, I expect. Yep. 3 more rifles on the bottom side are going to kill off the Skijagers. And it's back to 12-12. Skijager Pioneers pushing in very aggressively up this hill. Got to be careful. I mean, the rifles, they will be forced back. The MG42s, you've got the T-34s there. It will allow the Skijagers to eventually move up. And the Skijagers themselves also have those MG42s that can help with the longer range engagement. But things 13-11 in favor of Frubblord now. And the Skijager trying to match up with rifles. Over time, it's really not going to work out. Gerb's now having to bring in some Sturm Skijager to deal with a couple units of rifles and keep them off the hill. These T-34s looking for transport snipes, forces Frubblord to unload those early. These Pioneers, they didn't really make the ground because the Typhoon came in there with the bombing strike. So, yeah, the Skijager Pioneers forced back. Now, in some ways, there is potential here that Kerbs didn't actually need to make these fall back. He could have just left them where they were until they recovered and then pushed them into the heavy cover. Because more in the open is definitely not where those Skijager Pioneers want to be. Ju-87 coming in again for another strike. These do fly very low, so that Bofors is struggling to get line of sight. And it looks like this Churchill will go down. Yep, another Churchill gone. But so far it's the rifles that have really been pushing up hard. Typhoon does find the bombing kill onto the MG. Sturm Skijagers and Skijagers in the center have been given the order to push forwards. ME-109 G6 does take out that Typhoon. Nicely done. So it looks like Frubblord's kind of kicked the nest there. A load of Skijagers and Sturm Skijagers are now counter-pushing in the center. Looks like the Sturm Skijager on the top side were taken out. Now just standard Skijager standing in the way. 2 more Skijager coming in. T-34 is trying to look for close range engagements. Honestly, these 2 Skijager, I reckon splitting one to go to each of the flags would be a great idea, just to hold on to them and force Frubblord to bring his rifles out of cover. Because if you constantly send the infantry into the cover, that's where the rifles are going to trade a lot better. HE-111 coming in with the bombing strikes once again. It was hit by the Bofors quite a bit, so the bombs spread out and it actually ended up pinning down all of the rifles there, not just 1 or 2 squads. We do see off-map coming in. That's to break down the rifles in this area. We're back to 15-9 in favour of Curbs. He is starting to recapture some of the flags he lost. And also capture new flags. This one in the centre now under control of Curbs. Nice transport snipe there, really important. Means that these Skijaegers can keep pushing through and probably get influence onto this flag. Lovely stuff by the T-34 there. Further down, T-34 is trying to push up. We're seeing the off-map come down on top of the rifles. That Skijager's got to be careful though. Engaging when you're on one man remaining. Yeah, only requires one burst of the rifles to kill. A little bit greedy. If that was just waited a little bit longer, he could have just ran in there and surrendered them all at really close range. But nope, not going to happen this time around. Skijager Pioneers still trying to engage from a distance with the MG42s. Haven't managed to get to the close cover. Instead, the Skijaegers have, and the T-34 also pushing forwards there. Two Churchill 6s now moving forwards to help that engagement. These Skijaegers, they're really going to work. They can kill off these transports so quickly if they don't unload quick enough. Thankfully for Frubblord, he has managed to do so. Look at these boys just in a line, just blasting away with their MP44s, melting those rifles. Typhoon, though, coming in with the bombing strike will do a lot of damage. This is two 230 kilogram bombs, so will pin them down and potentially kill. Yep, does manage to kill off one of them. The other one finished off by the rifles. Ju-87 coming in with the strike. That's going to fly right over the Bofors, though. And no kill onto the Churchill 6 because it was almost already forced to fall back. Off-map coming down from Curbs. Once again, this time onto the hill. Still pushing 15-9. Really, really good constant aggression here from Curbs. Just hasn't really taken the gas, or pedal off the gas, sorry, throughout this entire game so far. And I was a little worried that he would basically stop attacking at one point. But he really needs to just keep up the momentum and hold on, because the Vanguard doesn't last all game. It really doesn't. And he's probably built it so that he has a limited number of infantry availability in the late game. And that's why we're seeing nothing but Skijager come out and the remainder of his Skijager Pioneers. Whereas Frubblord probably just has another card of like 36 rifles that up his sleeve. So he can just constantly bring those in. T-34s, they're going to be coming in to try and engage the Churchill 6s. Two Bofors now for Frubblord. That's going to make it very difficult for the Ju-87s to get kills onto those Churchills. Rifles that were coming in to reinforce in the centre have instead been pushed through since the Skijager have been dealt with. These rifles now unloaded. Going to kill off that Skijager unit and push up towards the Pack 36. Got to be really careful here, Curbs. He could lose control very quickly, but the double ME410 coming in with the bombing strike should be able to prevent that for the time being. Does need to get some infantry in here eventually, though. So those are all going to be falling back. Stop that push for the time being. Off map on the top side now for Curbs. Looking to stop the rifles in the cover there. Needs to get a unit into these buildings so that he can maintain that objective. Also getting a unit into the flag here and into the center would be super important right now, just in case Frublord's push back completely blasts his front line, which I think it's gonna do, honestly. These Skijaegers, they're gonna get killed very quickly by the abundance of rifles coming through, plus the Churchill 6 support. More T-34s on the way from Curbs. We haven't seen any KV-2s, which is a shame, but I guess they're not particularly cost efficient in 1v1s. Would have been good for this hill for sure, though. Skijaegers are doing their best. They will be assisted by the off-map once those shots start to land. But it's back to 12-12 now, and things aren't looking good. I'm a little worried that Curve's running out of steam here. The SDK Z7-2 as well is probably going to get killed off by the rifles. That's not good. Yep, didn't reverse that in time. These T-34s can certainly get on top of the rifles, but the 17-pounder does have that covered. The best place for these T-34s right now would just be to like go in behind these buildings. Because the T-34s, they can't be killed by the rifles very easily, but there is now a Typhoon coming in, Typhoon AT. And the sky was dominated by Curbs for the first half of the game, but now these Typhoons really starting to make a difference. Especially with the bombing strike in the town up here that deleted those Skijager. And now on the bottom side, taking out one of the T-34s makes a big difference. Off-map coming in, looking for off-map, maybe onto where his T-34s are. Looks like a bit of a panic place off-map. As the Tempest comes in, the both of us shoot it down as well. Might have been the last off-map strike available, so went a bit more deep than usual. Oh, nice bombing strike here. We'll pin down all of those rifles, give the flag back to Curbs for the time being. But my. This is a close old game now. T-34 there may have just been assisted by the Typhoon. We'll be able to pin down that unit of rifles, and by doing so we'll give the flag back to Curbs. On the bottom side, the T-34 and Skijager have ended up cutting off another 3 units of rifles. This T-34 on its own holding this flag, not for too long. It's literally penetrated the front line and managed to capture that. Oh, there it goes. It was rejected. And Curb still manages to hold on to the 13-11. Still in the lead. T-34 cut off, may as well come back and drive forwards again. T-34 sitting on the flag. One big problem the 15th Infantry Scots has is the lack of infantry AT, and I already mentioned it once already in this game, but here you can really see it come to light, because things like the T-34s can just sit on these flags and there's nothing the rifles can do about it. You can try and get an AT gun to move up onto them, but it's not very effective, because if the T-34 spots the AT gun before it fires its first round, usually the T-34 can kill it, because it does have the 2 machine guns and the HE. The bottom side, the Typhoon did bomb the T-34. If the rifles were closer, that could have been surrendered, but actually it would have still been in friendly lines, so probably not. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Frubblord trying to push fiercely forwards at the moment. Tempest coming in for the strafing run onto the Sturm Skijager, not quite quick enough to stop that Sturm Skijager from killing off the rifles. These rifles only 1-star veterancy. The Sturm Skijager sharing that veterancy, but are way more powerful with those MP44s. More bombing strikes coming in from the ME410s. I honestly think Curbs has done a fantastic job of just constantly using these ME410s, like regardless of AA. Just keeps coming in for the airstrikes over and over and over again, and like punishes Frubblord for not having more AA coverage. This Typhoon, honestly that could have been used to kill off the ME410, but going for the run onto the T-34 is probably more important, so he can take that flag. It is going to pin down some of his own rifles, but taking out armor is super important. Ju-87, it's actually going to be used to pin down infantry. Nicely done there by Curbs. Just wants to hold the ground as much as possible. Because T-34 hiding on this flag. He's 14-10. He just got to hold on. This Skijager needs to stay alive. This Sturm Skijager needs to stay alive. Thankfully, with that rocket strike coming in, it's pinned down 2 units of rifles. If he can manage to just kill off the 3rd, been a really, really good spot there. But he needs to keep that Sturm Skijager alive, because otherwise he's going to lose another flag. Oh, it is so close at the moment. You can see how Curbs really doesn't have much left in him. Can he hold on? That is the question. More rifles coming in. Just the never-ending rifles from the 15th Infantry Scots. These rifles trying to push forwards, but the pin from the Ju-87 made so much difference, because with these being slightly pinned down, they're a lot less accurate, so the Sturm Skijagers are just way more effective in that engagement. Oh, it's 12-12. Rifles managed to push out. Curbs in the centre. Scharfschütze trying to engage the rifles here. ME109 trying to stop these Typhoons from getting bombing strikes in. Honestly, these Sturm Skijagers, they need to find another flag in the centre. This Sturm Skijager, though, is so close to going down. 2 Skijager Pioneers coming into the top side. Those might be able to push back onto the rifles briefly with the help of an ME410, but Damn, this is so close. Another Skijager gonna go down. Frubblord's gonna take 14 to 10. Skijager Pioneer on its own, 5 rifles in its way. That is gonna be real tough to come back from. Kerbs was so close, but I think he's lost. I think he has lost. Yeah, he's just run out of infantry. I don't see any more coming in. MG42 is coming in. I reckon he just can't believe it at this point. That was so close. I was actually convinced that Kerbs had this game. And the thing is, for me, like, I try not to pay too much attention to the tournament brackets before I cast the games. And, my god, in this case, I just got debated so hard, like, who I thought was going to win. It was Kerbs all the way. But availability for the 15th wins out. He's still got more rifles coming in. Damn. That is very unlucky. The Typhoon going to be melting more Skijager Pioneers. The last of Kerbs' infantry getting chewed up there, and the Ju-87's trying to pin down infantry. Just shows how desperate Kerbs was. That's it, 13 minutes until Kerbs loses the game. Frubblord could just keep pushing with as many rifles as he wants, because he probably has an absolute ton of them left. Skijager's in the centre, still trying to fight on, but slowly but surely the support weapons are now being taken out. Ski sharpshoots are going down. Sketched Skijager gonna go down. Another one in the centre there. Typhoon AT is going to be taking out the T-34s. Yeah, this is really rough. Just the constant airplay from Kerbs has been so nice, but it's not going to be enough at the end. He needs stuff on the ground, and I just don't see anything else coming in. That's another flag going in favour of Frubblord. That brings it down to 6 minutes until victory for Frubblord now. I don't know, I'd just be head in my hands at this point if I was Kerbs. This is really rough. The SDKF Z71 or 72 is helping deal with that rifle in the center, which might give back a flag. The Nebelwerfers could, in theory, take out these 2 rifles, so that would be 3 flags back in favor of Kerbs if those 3 units of rifles died. But this Skijager now taking shots from the Churchill 6s, and more Churchill 6s on the way, more rifles spreading out on the bottom side. Do you see the Stug 3s and T-34s coming in? SDKF Z72 is trying to push forwards, but the 6-pounder does take that out. T-34, 85s getting approached on by scouts with Piat. And usually it's relatively safe to be up in the face of Frubblord's infantry, but this time around maybe not so much, as the scouts are going to get a second Piat off. The first one missed in style, as always, and the second one's going to hit the mark. Stug 3s really aren't going to be enough, with 19 to 5 now. Going to see the MG42s get slowly picked off by the rifles. I think one of them, yeah, that's out of ammunition. These 2 MG42s that were placed into this town at the start, I praised their positioning then, and you can see just how much of an effect they've had by using up all of their ammunition. ME410 coming in with a bombing strike onto those rifles. Just trying to hold things back, but it is more than gone at this point. Oh, that's rough. That's real rough. I feel mighty bad for Kerbs. We're going to see a Typhoon with AT rockets go straight for the T-34 there. Take that out on the move. Also going for the shots onto the Ju-87. If the Bofors open up as well, the Ju-87 will probably go down pretty quickly. Has taken a lot of damage from the strafing run of those T-34s. Does go for the suicide strike into the Churchill. Oh, look at that beautiful view. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Awesome stuff there as the Ju-87 dives into that Churchill. But 20 to 4. Have you ever seen such a complete turnaround for a game? Like, this is insane. The Stug 3 trying to push forward. The bombing strike actually coming in there will cause it to get surrendered. almost caused his rifles to get surrendered, honestly. If he can get the 21, that's going to be total victory. He's got 20 to 4. He's 21 to 3 for a total victory. But it looks like Kerbs is just trying to stop that from happening. The Stug 3 moving through the back garden here, trying to engage these Churchills. We are seeing the bombing strike come in. A shot coming in from the left-hand side. It's trying to hold front armor against both, and not able to fire because of that. Still 20 to 4. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Just no more infantry. I'm surprised Kerbs didn't just surrender as soon as he sort of started to see his front line collapse, because there was just no coming back. But obviously just playing this out, the Churchill 6 should be able to penetrate, but doesn't quite manage to. Stug 3 gets the kill though. Nicely done, that Stug 3. At least sort of getting something back for Kerbs, I guess. MG42 though, as soon as that dies, that's going to be the 21 flags. And the total victory. The rifle's also still pushing forwards, there we go. Total victory in 1 minute. Damn. The only time I see that is in campaign gameplay, generally. Very rare you see that in competitive play. But again, the just complete turnaround. Kerbs pushed his deck to the limit and was so close. Look at Frubblord's tickets, he's still got more. Well, like, Kerbs has still got more tickets than Frubblord at this point in the game. Just insane. Typhoon coming in again for another rocket strike, I guess. At least knowing the outcome, we can just enjoy watching these strikes come in from these aircraft. Me410 looking for the kill onto the Typhoon, but going to end up flying right over these Bofors. One of the Bofors has actually run out of ammunition, but an Me410 took a pretty direct hit there a couple times and is leaking oil all over the place. HE-111 coming in. The MG42s are the front line for Kerbs right now. Me410 goes down. A long, long way down. Damn. MG42. Look at that, it's coming in. Capturing back a flag, going straight into the church there. Love it. 6-pounder. Oh, that's not good for those two Stugs. Then again, the Stugs are close range. One of them is going to go down. Oh no, did the second Stug lose line of sight briefly? Is that going to cause its 6-pounder to get the kill? Oh, not quite. Damn, that was close. Well, there we have it. Frubblord takes the victory from Kerbs. What a nail biter. Ridiculous. Now, obviously at the end there, things completely in favour of Frubblord, but damn, that's gotta hurt. 4,890 kills to 3,725 losses. Fantastic game. It doesn't get much better than that, guys. It really, really doesn't. That was just incredible. I had a lot of fun casting that one, guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. I think Kerbs found a lot of value out of his infantry early on, especially if you look at things like the Skijager, ripping open those rifles, and the Skijager MG42 is super important in this game in the center. But again, it comes down to these Ski-Sturmfusiliers and the Sturm Skijager. The normal Skijager just trade 1 for 1 really against rifles, if that. So yeah, I think Kerbs did well with his MP44s, but just didn't have enough of them. And I mentioned it at the start, I was a little bit worried about the availability, and it sort of turned out that way. Well, exactly how I kind of expected it to, except from Kerbs, I think just got way closer to winning than I thought. Like, that was so close. He could have certainly done it. I think there was a little bit of a time where he took his foot off the pedal, and that may have just been the difference between those little bit of tickets that he needed to win. It was literally like a minute, less than a minute until Kerbs won. and then his front line collapsed. Damn. Wow. Okay, so congratulations to Frubblord. We'll be moving on to the semi-finals after that insane game. So that's it from me. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one, which will be in the semi-finals. So yeah, see you then. Goodbye.